Hello, I'm Chris Casey.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this week's episode, we'll meet the face behind Anne Arundel First Alert on Facebook, and we'll also introduce you to county government's new page online. But first, making headlines this week, we want to congratulate the Old Mill Patriots football team on another great season that ended last week in the state championship game. Unfortunately, they lost a heartbreaker to Northwest High School out of Germantown, 34-31. But it was the third trip to the championship round for Old Mill in only 5 years. The Patriots have made 16 straight playoff appearances. They won 11 straight games leading up to the championship, so that's certainly nothing to hang their heads about. Northwest ran a little trickeration at the end of the game, up by 3, executing a fake punt to hold on. One team had to come out the winner, but the fans were treated to a thrilling game. Better luck next time, Patriots.
This week in our community spotlight, Sara Gannon was out in Pasadena talking to a local resident who has opened his home to the public for years and delighted kids of all ages with his train garden. Sarah?
Thanks, Chris and Kristin. Today we're at the Turf Valley Train Garden at the Sturgeon's home. And Mr. Sturgeon, how long have you been doing this?
Over 20 years. I've been collecting them about 40 years, but we opened to the public. I built the building in '92. It took me several years to get it built, and then started working on the trains. They were in the house to begin with in the basement, but the wife wanted a club, so then we came to an agreement that I could build this, which is 24 by 32 feet. And there's 12 trains running around, 2 suspended from the ceiling, plus an M&M's bumper car who goes back and forth. James is here, Thomas is here, all the kids know him. I don't charge a thing for it, it's free. Santa Claus is here every night up until the 23rd. I'm open weekends right now, Fridays and Saturdays.
And what time do you open?
6 p.m. to 9.
6 p.m. to 9.
Yes.
Okay.
So the 15th will be open every night until the 23rd, and then 2 days after Christmas, the 26th and 27th. But all the little ones come in, they bring me their wish list sometimes, and I put them up on the board. They come over and tell Santa Claus what they want. They usually get a coloring book and a candy cane.
And he actually had somebody from England or London?
London was here just this past weekend. Last year there was somebody here from Switzerland who was in college. His girlfriend brought him down, and he enjoyed it too. He was amazed. Most people are that come around. We've had them from Hawaii, all over the United States.
Well, we appreciate what you do for the community.
You're quite welcome.
And thank you, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks to Mr. Sturgeon for doing this great event every year. If you want to check out the train garden, it's located at 836 Turf Valley Drive in Pasadena. Do you have a train garden, Kristin?
I can't say I have a train garden, Chris, but around this time of year, we certainly have a cookie garden.
Oh,
Lots of cookies. Do you like Christmas cookies?
I eat too many.
Too many? What's your favorite?
I like those macaroon things with
macaroon's
the
a fancy cookie eater we have
but anyway. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will interview Jim Goetz from Anne Arundel First Alert. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Joining us on the show today is our guest, Jim Goetz from Anne Arundel First Alert. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what is Anne Arundel First Alert?
Well, it's actually, and we'll get to everything as far as what the Arundel News Network is, but it is actually a part of another service that we provide. And we use Facebook as a platform to get the breaking news out to people. So Anne Arundel First Alert is what we call the newsroom to this other service, the Arundel News Network, that I'll get into in a second. But pretty much it's a platform that we can reach, and we normally reach between say 300 to close to 1 million a week as far as how much with the
Wow.
breaking news.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of exposure. Now,
It
what
is.
made you start this effort?
Well, I mean, I've been a news junkie forever. I've been in public safety for 30 some years. I'm the chief of EMS at Fort Meade, so I have a big public safety background. And I always wear two hats. I like wearing the public safety hat and also wear the news media hat. And sometimes those can be a problem, but for the most part, it's not. I keep them separate. But I felt that the county needed a good, strong breaking news service that provided not just texting, but also audio, video, and things like that. And that's what I do. We go out and we'll shoot some news packages and we'll edit them and make them look professional. It's not just somebody's camera phone. We actually shoot on high definition cameras and high definition audio, and we'll actually go back and we'll cut it up and we'll do it right, and we'll make a minute 30 package like we do on television, like normal TV, and it looks very professional. It doesn't look like somebody's home video, which I'm not knocking that for other services, but
Right.
for us, we want it to look professional. So that's why we ended up doing it.
So Jim, what was your biggest story of the year? What was the one that really took the cake?
This year we actually probably had, that's a good question. We had actually two stories this year. The first one was the knockout game, if you remember that. That was
Sure.
a horrible thing that happened on the light rail. One of our subscribers called up and said, hey, that was my sister that had this
Wow.
incident. And I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you want to talk about it? And they were like, absolutely. So we went in a little bit more in depth, and sure enough, I mean, everything he described, I said, that's a knockout game. I'm sorry, So we went ahead and we built the story around that. It did go to the other media. We had a lot of the media call us up and say, hey, can you tell us your source, what's going on? We did share some information with them, so we wanted to get the news out that this kind of thing happens, and it happened locally. And unfortunately, that was not a good thing. And most of the time when we produce serious stories, that's when we see the most people watching. And in that time, we reached 1 million people that week.
Wow.
And then most recently was the protest in Baltimore when the Ferguson trials were going on, and Morgan State did some things in the protest in Baltimore. We went and covered it. And there were some things that happened that we were able to capture on video that probably wasn't for what you would call a peaceful protest, unfortunately. And that footage went national. So, that's two big stories for us, for a local service, if you want to call it Facebook. But Facebook's a platform, is pretty much all it is. And it's a good platform if you use it the right way.
Wow, that's awesome. How many people you're able to reach?
Well, again, it depends on the story. I mean, most stories we provide will go between 30 and 40,000 people. Right now, I mean, if you go with the total likes that we have on our page, it's around 70,000, which doesn't make us the biggest in the county, but at the same time, it's not so much how many likes you have, it's how much you can reach with your stories. And our stories, like I said, depending on when and where, it can go as high as 1 million, and we've seen that so far.
So you mentioned earlier the Arundel News Network. Can you tell us a little bit more about your connection with that?
Right. ANN is, or the Arundel News Network, that's the service that I actually started about a year ago. And in order for us to provide a really good service, we wanted to build a newsroom. The newsroom is Anne Arundel First Alert. So some people say, well, why do you have two? Well, that's the reason. First alert means we report on the first alert. If it's a house fire, a robbery, whatever, we don't want to just put out information that's not valid. So we'll make sure it's valid. We'll make sure it's all fact checked and everything else, and then we'll go ahead and put it out. And then that alerts everybody that there's been breaking news. Then we'll build a story on it on the Arundel News Network. And at that point, we'll go back and then we'll link the Arundel News Network to Facebook. And then we'll say, hey, we initially told you about this house fire that happened 2 o'clock this morning. Now the Arundel News Network brings you the rest of the story. Here it is. And they go to it. And the best part is it gives us more room for video, audio, pictures. I mean, Facebook is great, but it's limited. You can only put so many things on Facebook. You can only put like a video or a piece of audio or something like that. Where with a web page, you can put whatever you want. You can have 10 videos if you want, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a good thing. So we're using both sides basically in tandem to drive the traffic over from one to the other. And so far it's working pretty good.
Awesome.
So I took a little tour of the First Alert page.
Okay.
And obviously one of the biggest differences between that and the Arundel News Network would be how much interaction there is with people following the page. So it gives folks a lot of opportunities to get on there and share their opinions or share their personal experiences.
Right.
What kind of benefits do you notice from having that kind of interaction versus not having comments available on the news network page, or some of the curses that you find from having that available?
But I think that's good because it gives you a chance to talk to people directly, and they appreciate that. You know, you would be surprised how many people will actually send us a comment, and I'll respond back to them, and they're like, "Wow, you responded back. Thank you very much." Yeah, right. You know, and I think that makes us personable. But at the same time, it also lets them know that we're here, we're actually doing our job. It's not that we're just putting something and walking away. We're actually monitoring it. Unfortunately, sometimes you do get the trolls. You know what I mean? You get people who purposely try to make problems. And our job is to try to go through those comments and to delete as many as we can. Unfortunately, that takes time away from us monitoring the news. So it's hard for me to listen to 10 different radios of what's going on countywide and watch all these comments. Every once in a while, we'll get some people complaining. They'll be like, "Hey, you know, so-and-so said this, can you do it?" There's a lot of babysitting and kind of going on, but it's needed, you know, because you do get people in there that are trying their best to just cause problems. And that's with all social media. So we kind of have the same issues, and we do our best to police it. Sometimes it may not be to what the public likes, but we do our best. It's a lot of information. But the good part is we do communicate with our people and our subscribers, and that I think that sets us above, not really above everybody else, but the fact that we provide audio, video, and another link that allows them to see the whole story. And then we do talk to them as human beings. You know, we want them to know that we're here for them. And the sad part is like when we report on different stories, we will get like, you know, a car accident, for instance, where somebody's killed. I know when I post that incident, I'm talking to somebody's family. They're seeing this, you know what I mean? And that's why we're close not to put like pictures of the incident right away, or if we do, they're blurred. We try to help the family as much as possible, but we're still a news organization. We still have a responsibility to get the news out. So there is a double-edged blade there. But then you also know that when you do this, you're communicating directly to their family and, hey, that was my brother that was on that call, or that was my aunt or my cousin or my next door neighbor. So, and that's just with the reach we have of 70,000 likes on the page right now. I can't imagine when we go, you know, 150 to 200,000 people, how many more we're going to be reaching in that respect. And then you have a responsibility with that, you know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
But we love what we do, and we have great subscribers, and we just want to keep building as much as we can.
Well, you mentioned being personable, and you mentioned the quality of the cameras you use when you go out.
Right.
Is there anything else that makes you a cut above the rest as far as other options folks might have for local real-time news pages?
I think it's because, in my opinion, what sets us above or apart would be the fact that we're professional as far as what our background is. We're not civilian reporters, okay? And I'm not saying that in a negative way against anybody else. I'm just saying that, you know, our side, we have a lot of training, a lot of journalistic backgrounds. You know, I used to write for many news organizations in the past for first responder. It's mostly trade organizations through being a paramedic and a firefighter for 30-some years. But that and working at Channel 13 in Baltimore as a news editor. I was a videographer and a news editor there. And so I have a lot of background. The people who work with me also have a background. And I think that professionalism on top of just not trying to be the first to get a story out, but trying to be the first to get the story out to make sure it's correct, and it's valid, and everything's up to date. Sometimes the PIOs for like police and fire, sometimes it makes their job a little harder because large people that follow us are the media, because we are like a tip line for them. And you think about it, I mean, we're the first alert, so we're putting things out, and it helps the assignment desk and the assignment editor who's trying to monitor, you know, statewide information. They can see Anne Arundel County through us. So they'll use that to their benefit. And then right away, you know, oh, Anne Arundel County has a house fire, I'm calling the PIO. Well, the poor PIO is just now seeing this house fire too. So she's trying to, you know, get their information together, and sometimes they get overwhelmed. So that's something we're trying to kind of help them out a little bit, and maybe not be so fast to get the information out, to kind of give them a chance to catch up. It's only fair. I mean, they don't want to be caught not knowing their information. They're trying to do the same thing we are, and sometimes we're a little faster, and I personally don't think that's fair to them. So we are trying to work with that part.
Well, we really appreciate what you do for the county as far as getting real, live, updated information that's fact-checked out to the county and our residents. So we want to find you on Facebook. First Alert, where would we go?
Well, you can go to Facebook and just search for Anne Arundel First Alert. Okay. I actually made a quick link. It's arundel911.com, and it'll take you right to it.
Great.
And then ANN, the Arundel News Network, is arundelnewsnet.com.
Make sure you folks check out those pages. I want to thank our guest, Mr. Goetz, for coming out today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Same to you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Week in Review.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of the child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism.
Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back.
Great news for our online viewers. Anne Arundel County finally has a Facebook page. That's right, we have a brand new page that will bring you the sights, sounds, and happenings around the county, round the clock. The page is easy to find. Go to www.facebook.com/myAnneArundel. No, really, pause us right now. Type in My Anne Arundel, get on that smartphone, and click the like button. You won't regret it. The page will be full of photos, video content, and updates that will help you get more involved in your community and in your local government. Of course, you'll also get Week in Review beamed directly to your phone, computer, or mobile device. No more remembering what time the show airs. Please take a minute and tell your friends about our new page. We are really excited to bring you to this new source of information.
Before we go this week, Kristin and I want to make a small correction about last week's episode.
Oh boy.
You pronounced the police chief's name wrong.
Oh no, I like the police chief. I'm so sorry.
I love the police chief, but you said Altamare. It's actually pronounced Altamare.
Oh,
I'm sure
disgrace to
I'm
my
sure he
Italian.
gets that all the time, but let's try to tighten it up, okay, Lagana?
Wow, 1 week on the show, Chris, and you're already telling me to tighten it up. Very nice. Okay, well, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Fair enough.
The chief and I are buds, and he lets me call him Altamare. And you know what? This week's Around the Web is for you. It's the guy we all know who has to overpronounce everything, like Altamare. Roll it, Chuck.
I cannot wait to try the food here. The reviews have been incredible.
Okay, what's good?
I've heard good things about the prosciutto, also the caprese, also the mozzarella sticks, and the bruschetta, and the garlic bread.
Do you mean bruschetta?
Yeah, bruschetta.
Why are you saying it that way?
That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. People like it when you embrace their culture. It's very respectful. Ooh, they have linguine!
Okay, talking to you is embarrassing, and I want to change the subject. Have you guys eaten in this neighborhood before?
Actually, right next door, there's this amazing Spanish restaurant. They do the best tapas and gazpacho.
You mean tapas and gazpacho?
Yeah, that's what I said. Tapas and gazpacho.
That is not what you said!
See, Chris? You want to be accurate, but you don't want to be that guy.
Well, sometimes you have to be that guy. I'm a grammar Nazi myself, so.
Okay, I'll make sure to keep an eye on you then, because I'm an English major, so maybe I don't pronounce things correctly, but I can certainly type them out.
Maybe I've met my match.
There you go.
That wraps this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online at any time on YouTube, Facebook, or Google Plus at ArundelTV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.